I'm Mike Simmons. I'm the founder and president of Astronomers Without Borders, where things like this happen on a daily basis, where things, there's always some sort of a glitch. I'm really happy to have this chance to have a hangout to wrap up Global Astronomy Month, but also look forward to a few other things that we have coming up during the year, as well as next year. Global Astronomy Month has been a fantastic event going back the last few years, and this was a follow-up to 100 Hours of Astronomy in the International Year of Astronomy in 2009, and it's really grown to become the world's biggest annual event in astronomy. So we've got several guests with us from around the world as well as the principals, some of the people whose names you have seen in notes, who are going to have a chance to talk a little bit about what's gone on during the year, or during this past month as well. So thank you for joining us for this, and look forward to showing you some of the things we're doing and some of what's coming up as well. So Jessica Santascoy is is the GAM manager for 2013. Jessica is in New York City, a place where stars usually don't appear much. And Jessica, I wanted to ask a few questions of you and see what you thought about doing this. Jessica was previously with the Astronomical Society of the Pacific, and running the Night Sky Network there, or working on it. So this is quite a change for you, Jessica. What are your impressions? And what do you think?
I've just been blown away with how many people have come together around the world to do this amazing astronomy outreach. I mean, the Astronomical Society is kind of an educational organization that does outreach, and so it's really been good to see this come together. It's been amazing at how many people are so generous, and then the variation of programming is superb, from astro art to educational, observing, online programs, and they're all overlapping. So all of them are educational, let's say, and we have dark skies programming. Amateur astronomers all over the world are interested in dark skies, so it's just been fabulous. I'm just astounded by the generosity of people.
Muted mic.
Yeah.
Forgetting. So I got thrown a little bit. My notes disappeared. So we're winging it. But so Jessica, you've been sort of been thrown into the eye of the storm in this last month, and it is a little bit chaotic. And I think a lot of people don't realize that there are very few of us actually working in Astronomers Without Borders. A lot gets done with very little. It must have been a bit frustrating for you at times as well, as you're trying to chase things down worldwide.
Yeah, it was a little frustrating, but the team that we're working with is so enthusiastic, and we all just love what we're doing, that the frustrations are minor when you're looking at the big picture and thinking about how people are sharing scopes or putting together programs. So it really doesn't matter. It's trivial. It's just been a really great time.
And to give us to give a sense of what is meant by global, I think it's worth pointing out, I've never been in a hangout with this many continents in play. So I'd like to first of all say I want questions from as many comments as we have represented in the hangout. And if you want to send us your questions, you can either tweet us with the hashtag GAM2013, GAM 2013. You can post to our Google event page, or you can leave a comment on YouTube. Now, to give a sense of just where everyone is from, let's vaguely by alphabetical order of continents. How many people do we have here that are from the Asian continent? Felina, I know you're in the Asian continent. I think you are, at least.
Yes. Yeah.
So wave if you're from the Asian continent. Okay, so how about the Australian continent, which includes New Zealand? You're sort of dangling off the continent. So we have Australia. Do we have anyone in here from South America? No, we're missing South America. North America?
Actually, we do.
Mike and I.
Marshall is from South America.
Okay. Europe.
Missing Europe.
We're missing Europe, and do we have anyone from Africa?
Yes.
African. So we're doing really good at getting as many continents as is humanly realistic into this hangout. So if you can all ask questions, and Mike, sorry to jump in, I just wanted to get that pointed out.
No, I appreciate that. I was a little. I appreciate you're joining in there, Pamela, and we should at least give an introduction to Pamela too. Probably everybody knows who Pamela Gay is, also Star Strider. But CosmoQuest is one of our many, many partners in GAM and beyond, and CosmoQuest does these hangouts regularly. They have regular weekly programs of all kinds. And so they're our partner to produce these hangouts for us, and so we're glad to have them to help us out, and to Pamela to jump in once in a while to save me while I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing as well. So we're going to talk to each of our guests in turn as well, and we have a lot of pictures to show what's going on, what happened during GAM, and we'll get to those as well, and introduce each one of our guests. And to be a little bit more specific before we introduce them, so people know what countries we have. We have Philippines, Vietnam, Morocco. We now have, I see, South America, which is Brazil, New Zealand, Ghana, and Sri Lanka represented here amongst the national coordinators and other participants, as well as those of us who are sort of in the middle of it all. So, and another person who's in the middle of it all and has been for quite some time is Thelina Hinatigala. Thelina, I'm not sure after all these years if I pronounce your name correctly or not. Is that close? Can Thelina hear me? Is Thelina there?
Thelina's video seems to be frozen at the moment, so maybe
Okay.
jump to the next person.
Well, last I heard they were having big storms in Sri Lanka, and that always messes things up for us. So, we don't have any comments or questions yet, Pamela, do we?
We have a bunch of people saying positive things, looks good.
Good.
One people, one sky. So we do have an audience out there, and no questions, but a lot of enthusiasm.
Okay. So I want to we have a lot of people to talk to and to share things, and I want to bring some people in. One of the people who has been very active in Astronomers Without Borders from pretty close to the beginning is Marcelo Souza in Brazil. And Marcelo is one of the more active people. All of these people are. Let's take a look at some of the things that they have done there. It's been a wide variety. And Marcelo, welcome Marcelo, bom dia.
Bom dia. Nice to meet all of you.
So Marcelo, what is new for Global Astronomy Month in Brazil this year? What are the most successful things that you have done, do you think?
Yeah, we have many groups in Brazil that participated in GAN, and we also, this year, we had the support of hangouts like this that we are participating, that we have here in Brazil, that's popularized the GAN for all the people here in Brazil, for all groups. And we also organized again our international meeting during the GAN, that is part of the GAN here in Brazil. And I have some pictures here about these activities that I will share now.
Okay, in fact, I have one here that maybe Pamela can show on my screen that is something new and something that we're doing more of. So let me show that too, and then you can get yours ready as well. This is a program of astronomy for the sight impaired, in
Yeah.
which and Pamela, I'm not telling if that's being shared up there now or not.
Yes, this was a big success here. The first time we did this.
Yes, and this was basically you can see in the picture if you're seeing it, and I'm confused about whether or not that's really what's up there at the moment. But you'll see both the sight disabled and people with blindfolds who are normally sighted individuals who are seeing what it's like to not be able to see as they go into this tent to do things. Marcelo, tell us a little bit about what's
I have
what
I
we're
have
seeing.
some other images about this presentation, and oh, sorry, I I'll leave it here first. I will come back here on a moment. I will show here some pictures about this experience here. And the first time we have here in Brazil a school here in our city here in Brazil, a school for. I'm trying to. I have to change here. Okay, sorry. Now, can you see the image of the experience that we do?
Yes.
Okay. This is what we try to do. This is a big shopping that you have in our city. It's the biggest shopping of our city, shopping center of our city. And the main square of the shopping city, we had the idea to make an experience, to show people how the visually impaired feel when they try to understand the astronomy and what we think we talk about the universe. And then we made contact with a school for visually impaired people in our city, and we had the support of this school, and all these people with this protection in the eyes began a journey by the unknown universe. Was the name we call the experience. Here, another pictures, and the guides are visually impaired people that studied in this school. Here you have some images of the guide here, and inside the place we have the tactile models of the constellations, sounds of space, and most of the pulsars, and from the Sun and Jupiter, and also the book written by Norin Grice, Down to the Stars.
Right.
We have models of the planets.
Okay. Well, Marcelo, that's fantastic. And in fact, Noreen Grice and some others are part of the regular program in Astronomers Without Borders to help bring the universe to disabled people of various kinds. It's just another border. A lot of people are not included in astronomy very often. So this is a great program for them. And we're going to have more to do with this throughout the year as well. So Marcelo, thanks very much for that. That's a different look at how things are. I'd like to move along now over across the Atlantic. Sarah, and Sarah, you'll pronounce I hate messing people's names up, so you'll pronounce it for me, I hope. Sarah's in Ghana at the Ghana Planetarium, and this is one of the only planetariums in sub-Saharan Africa, as I understand it, that was done in collaboration with some people in North America as well, and very, very active. And I would love to. Oh yes, people are still seeing my picture here. Sorry. We'd love to hear about what went on in Ghana this year, and I think I have some pictures here we can bring up also.
Okay. Well, hello everybody. It's great to be hanging out with everybody. Yeah, I sent a few pictures in. Yes, as Mike was saying, I'm from the Ghana Planetarium, And yeah, as far as I know, we are the only planetarium basically across the whole sort of east to west width of Africa. There's some in North Africa, some in Southern Africa, but the whole of the rest, I think it's only us, as far as I'm aware. I'm happy for people to put me right if I've got that wrong. So our programs, I mean, yeah, it's maybe different to quite a few of the other people. We don't do so much of the outreach and going out on the streets, but people come to the planetarium. But we try and give them all different experiences. So it's not just, they don't just come and sit down, watch a planetarium show and go home. We do presentations and demonstrations and hands-on activities for the kids, and we do have telescopes as well, so we can do telescope viewing if it's not too cloudy. It wasn't too great this year, I have to say. So normally, because there's no paid workers at the planetarium, we're all volunteers, so we don't normally have that many public events. But for Global Astronomy Month, we actually had an event every Saturday during April, and I was coordinating those. And the good thing this year was I managed to pull in quite a few other volunteers. So we had quite a lot of people who said they would come and help out with the kids and help out with the activities. So each week we had maybe 3 or 4 different activities that the kids could do, and some of them were just, you know, fun. We had made a solar system hat, which was great, and then some were a bit more to it, like calculating your age on other planets or measuring craters on the moon. But you know, you can't do that unless you have at least another 3 or 4 people to help with each of the activities. So that was great. That's the first time we've had a group of volunteers. So that made a lot of difference to what we managed to do.
Well, that's great, Sarah. I didn't even realize it was all volunteer at the planetarium. That's really incredible with all that goes on. And I'd like to share some of the images that we have from your activities as well, and maybe you can say something about it. This looks like you directing traffic around the solar system here, I guess.
Well, this is we often start off under this kind of summer hat and do a bit of a discussion, but I'm sure we all know things like models and demonstrations really help people's understanding. So it's great to get the kids out and say, okay, you be the Earth. How does the Earth move? And get them to think about the rotating and the orbiting, and someone else is the sun. And I think that when I was actually saying, we're talking about the distances. So we've got the relative sizes of the Earth and the Moon, and then we're saying, okay, how far apart do you think they are? And it's always much further than people think. So I think I was pointing at the person to go a bit further.
Yes, of course. And then it looks like you had quite a few kids. This is a very brightly colored group here.
Yes, that's actually a ladies' football team. So in the newly started ladies' football league in Ghana, they came along. So I think that was the first event, and that was all on stars and constellations and light pollution. So it fitted in with the Dark Skies event and the Globe at Night. So they were doing the Create a Constellation. I mean, I have to say, all the activities in my emails, I always acknowledge who they're from. I mean, I didn't create that activity. It's on the internet, giving people just a group of dots and getting them to create their own constellations, to talk about how different cultures have their own constellations. And although there are certain constellations we all use, that doesn't mean that other cultures don't have their own constellations as well. So that was their chance to create their own constellation, which was very popular. They really enjoyed that one.
Oh, that's terrific. And the kids get into the act here as well.
Yes, we did this last year almost by accident. I had sort of thought, oh, someone else had this idea, and I thought, well, okay, then it was just sort of drawing a human-sized astronaut and rocket with a kind of cutout for the face. And in fact, we were going to paint it, and we didn't have time. But okay, let's let the kids paint it. They absolutely loved it. Who wants to do painting? Wow! They all went running. They all want to do the painting. But no, some of you have to come back. So they paint it, and then the next great thing is then all the parents just love taking photos of their kids with their faces stuck through being an astronaut or being a rocket. So I mean, obviously that's just a fun thing. It's not really educational, but the kids come along and enjoy it.
It gets them involved. And by the way, I want to clarify on the last picture of the football team for those of you in North America. Football is what we call here soccer. Hopefully most of the world that's watching us now will understand that, but a few of us are in a different place here. So
good point.
And
Okay.
here, this guy's really intense.
This was we did an event on the sun, and now you can't really tell from the picture, but you know, Ghana, it's hot, it's in Africa, it's hot, it's sunny, had all these lovely activities, UV beads. I got my Galileo scope up, practicing the projecting, eyepiece projecting. What happened? No sun. It was like, oh no, I can't believe it. So shelve all those activities, let's think of something else. So we were doing something about the stereo mission. We had some of those short NASA clips about stereo, and so as we were talking about why do we need two eyes, what does that help us with? So we were getting them to close one eye and try and touch two pencils together. So yeah, he was concentrating very hard. But it's quite funny because it is hard, but of course when I said, oh, it's quite difficult, isn't it? They were saying, no, it's easy, I can do it. They didn't want to admit that it was difficult, even though it is quite tricky. But it's just showing the point of our binocular vision and the two stereo spacecraft which allow us to see all of the sun.
That's so awesome, Sarah. That sounds like a wonderful program. And that's what I mean about the generosity of people, getting all those volunteers together. That's just superb.
Well, one thing I think I've noticed, and Sarah, you can mention it, you say you don't have programs all the time because it's hard to do, but during Global Astronomy Month, you have quite a few. In a way, it gives sort of an opportunity to focus on things and to get more attention, which is something to be just is a perfect result if we have that kind of a result from just holding the month.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, yes. As I said, we deliberately did more events. We did every weekend, and we were just telling people all the time, oh, it's Global Astronomy Month. And I'd sent out a mail asking people, maybe you can do your own events. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything formal, just get together with some friends, look up in the sky. We send out sky maps and things. So just to encourage people to think about the night sky and think about astronomy during April.
So thanks very much, Sarah. That's terrific and a lot of fun to see. And one person we have back who I called on before, who had frozen on screen and then disappeared. It was one of the problems with living online these days is we depend on the network connections. But Thelina, and I made a stab at your last name, which I've never really gotten for sure. I believe it's Hinatigala, is that right?
Almost. Very
Almost.
close.
Okay, good. That's better than what I've learned a little bit then. Well, Thelina, we wanted to hear from you. Thelina is known to just about everybody, both in AWB and outside. He's known all over the planet, in fact. But Thelina started as a volunteer with Astronomers Without Borders several years ago. We worked together both as a volunteer and as he was our first employee, and we didn't meet for like 3 years, and we finally got together. It was like being old friends anyway once we did see each other. So Thelina is now in charge of communications and has done a fantastic job keeping the online world active and keeping people involved there. So Thelina, you have any comments you want to make about GAM, how it's changed?
Yes, definitely. Because I remember I joined the AWB in 2009, and like end of 2009, and we were all discussing what to do next because it was International Year of Astronomy, and we wanted to do something follow up with. And so the Global Astronomy Month was a very natural thing to do. But back then, for the first edition, we didn't have enough time. It was put together within like 4 or 5 months, and it was a very small program, but we had a good participation. But we wanted to do it as an annual program, and I still remember like in 2011, it was unbelievably like we thought we gave birth to a monster, because we ended up with something closer to 40 programs, and we didn't have any staff, and we had lots of volunteers too, and we had so much volunteer support from all over the world. But it was unbelievable what actually within such a short year how things turn out. And so ever since 2011, it has been only growing, and now we have actually more people helping out, and things are getting more organized. But if you look back, and I'm always like fascinated by how these little ideas among AWB people kind of grow into something really large. And the best thing is this is not just to one community or like set of people. This is for everybody. I mean anyone can do it. And I remember like one thing I should mention is that during the CAP meeting, the Communicating Astronomy with Public in 2011, and that's where we didn't even present the GAM officially, but during the meeting we got the opportunity to, thanks to Pamela actually, we got the opportunity to just to present it like very briefly. But even it was such a brief kind of introduction to GAM, everyone understood the value and important and how big it was. And so I remember distinctly at CAP 2011, the GAM was one of the key things. And so that was very encouraging to all of us. And so in 2012 it grew more, and now I can only say sorry, very sorry for Jessica, because I know what she's gonna get into. And yeah, it has been such a fantastic ride for me, and now I'm sure Jessica's gonna have fun with it and sleepless.
Yes, well, Jessica learned from her experience, and we'll talk a little bit about what we might do for next year. But I think a big part of it is Jessica is going to try and get the rest of us somewhat organized, which is really a very big task. But there's an awful lot going on. But Jessica has been fabulous this year. Jessica, do you want to rebut anything there?
No, I agree. I think in 2014 it's going to be bigger and better. And if people are interested in submitting a program idea, they should send it to us right away. And you should start planning for 2014. It's pretty close, and we'd like to get the word out now. So, you know, it's never too early. And we can just fly with it and really, really go further.
Well, we've never managed to really get things going on time as we should, so it's always been a scramble. But again, just like with Sarah, it's been mostly volunteers, and I have some things to show you about how we're sort of getting stuff together, thanks to our supporters, but we'll save that for a little bit later in the Hangout. I want to get maybe a brief hello and a few comments from Asia as well. We have our national coordinator for Vietnam from Ho Chi Minh City, Dui, and I won't pronounce your whole name, Dui, but if you have some comments, and I have a few pictures I can show of what took place in Vietnam as well, so let me bring those up while you're commenting. Dui, do you have a few things you'd like to say?
You need to unmute. There you are.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah. This year we are so busy, but we just ran out of time in organize some event in response to the program schedule of AWB. So we have the Starry program observation with Philippines, Mr. James and so Christopher. We also have our old astrocam, our traditional astrocam in the seas of Vũng Tàu city. It means nearly 100 kilometers far away from Ho Chi Minh City. And then at the end of April, so we have a trip to popularize astronomy to a high school in my hometown in Highland in Ballarat City. So we have a wide range of area from coastal area to the highland and also in Ho Chi Minh City. And it's mean from Sunday, we also have an activity in our astro camp with we use a solar filter to have some participants to observe the sunspot and also to draw some sunspot of the sun, and also they must find the location, and it means the direction of the solar or the solar disk. We also have some presentation about astronomy, about the telescope, about the structure and how telescope work for some participants, because most of them are the newbie. It means their first view of some celestial object through telescope. We also have some crossword game and also some our handmade video about astronomy to guide participants about the sky in Ho Chi Minh City and also in Vietnam, so they will know some famous constellation, some famous planet, and also some famous nebula in the sky. About the picture, as I posted some pictures in the hangout before, so we have one picture about the telescope. It means my club member help some participants know about the telescope, all part of this, and also how the telescope works. We also have a presentation about some particular phenomena of the universe, like you know, like meteor shower, like aurora, and also about the solar or lunar eclipse. It also helps us to popularize astronomy to community, because as all of you may know, that in Vietnam, astronomy acquire new subjects. So everything just is the beginning in Vietnam about astronomy.
Well, that's something I think that a lot of people in my country, in the United States, don't realize, that astronomy is really a very new thing in most of the world, and it's mostly, almost entirely, in countries like yours, very young people, rather than the people like me and my country who are older and have been involved in astronomy for a long time. But this is something that young people do in Vietnam, like in other countries throughout Asia and other continents. Isn't that right, Dewey?
Yes, maybe in our club, most of the club members is just lower than 13 years old. So they are just a student. Most of them are students, and maybe some people like me just a little bit lower than 13 years old. So we are young and active member, because astronomy is an amazing subject for me. So a lot of people, a lot of younger people in Vietnam, they love to find out and to study more about astronomy. So this is one of the most advantages of the club. It means we are active and very young.
That's fabulous, and you're doing so much so much enthusiasm. I'd like to go over. I'd like to talk with all of you myself for the full hour, but we just don't have time. But I'd like to move across over to a neighbor, the Philippines, because you mentioned Starpiece, and this is a fantastic program that actually is another partner program started by a group of students in Iran, and where observing events are shared between countries, really one people, one sky, and crossing over borders. And I have an image that I'll share of that, but Christopher here is in the Philippines, who is one of the partners you had in that event. So Christopher, if I'll show the Starpiece here and some other pictures of events that went on during Global Astronomy Month in the Philippines, if you have any comments that you'd like to share with us.
First off, I'd like to thank this opportunity on behalf of our President James Kennedy, astronaut at the Philippines. Anyway, these pictures that show as we showed you, these are some of the activities that happened here last year.
Christopher, you're having some audio problems and we can't quite understand you. If you turn down the volume on your device, it may work much better. You'll need to unmute yourself. Sorry for doing that to you.
And I'll mention while Christopher's looking at that also that this picture is from the Philippines that Pamela will share with everyone. It mentions Starpiece and HAAC, which is a group in Vietnam. So along with Star Peace and Global Astronomy Month, the Astronomical League of the Philippines is the group that's represented there. Christopher, let's try you
Yeah.
again. How?
Okay. How's that? Sound better? Okay.
Yeah, it is better.
So as you can see on the banner, we have coordinated with Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh, Astronomical Society. Our group, conducted a free public viewing in our very favorite hangout, known as the Raha Park, right very near the right in Manila, Rojas Boulevard. And what we did on last April 6, we set up our telescopes there, and we featured Earth and planet Saturn. And you have to understand that, like in Vietnam, astronomy is not really a big thing here in the Philippines. So it's kind of rare for my countrymen to see us set up telescopes. So when they see us setting up something like that, it's like strange to them. So they would walk up. So we expect a lot of people always, because Filipinos are naturally curious. They look through our telescopes, and you hear those oohs and ahs. And
we're having Christopher, a little bit of an audio problem here too. I did hear you talk about how unusual astronomy is in the Philippines, and the oohs and ahs that people have when they take a look through a telescope for the first time. But I've got to tell you, as common as it seems that astronomy may be in the United States, it's very much the same. If you set a telescope out, you'll have a lot of people, and very few will have ever looked through a telescope before. So you're really doing the same thing, and it seems, I'm going to bring up some other pictures here, but looking at the pictures, it always seems like you have a lot going on.
Yeah, actually, there's after April 6th, we have a the day after we have April 7th, and we have conducted Sunday where we featured the sun. We set up filters we put telescopes, and we put filters on our telescope so that we could view the sun. It just happens that there was a sunspot during the time, and there was a series of sunspots at the time. So a lot of questions has been asked. Okay. Then after April 7th, last April 6, where once again we're in Raha Park, and we featured this time the moon. So at the time, the moon was in waning. I think it's in waning gibbous already. So people saw the moon, and they saw how different it looked through our telescopes. And once again, the oohs and ahs and the incredible how their face just lighten up when they see these objects through our telescopes. It's amazing. Rewarding experience to share the universe with our fellow countrymen.
Okay, I'm talking into my muted microphone again. Sorry. Thank you very much for the all too brief look at what's going on there. There are quite a few people and groups involved in astronomy in the Philippines that I see, so we get the idea that it's very active, but I understand most of the people there, like elsewhere, have not really had a chance to look through telescopes and be involved in astronomy before. So I'd like to move over now back to Africa, but in this case, a different part of Africa. Really, to me, seems like another continent, northern Africa, Morocco. From Casablanca, we have Madani Hatim, or actually I think it's Hatim Madani, as we would say. Your first name, Hatim, is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Hatim, but the different names and cultures and things can sometimes confuse us. And you were very active this month as well, and you're relatively new to Astronomers Without Borders, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah,
So
yeah, do you hear me? Okay.
there's some interference, so we're getting a buzzing. I'm showing some of the pictures that we have. I'm getting a very loud buzzing in my ear right now. We have a picture up now, I believe, that shows Global Astronomy Month and some of the different activities at a program in Morocco.
As we did each year, we had a contest with our school clubs, with the UNESCO associated school. We have now 5 clubs in different cities in Morocco, and each year we organize during the Global Astronomy Month a national contest. And this year the theme was the light pollution and dark sky awareness, and we participate to Globe at Night program. So the pupils made some measurements. As you see in the picture, they did some measurements in the Globe at Night program, and they made some audits in the streets to measure the light pollution and the nature of the luminaries used in the streets. And this year we have a good point, because the main association in Morocco, in Casablanca, Rabat, the capital, and in Marrakesh, have participated for the first time together in the game. And this is good, because next year I think we will be more. There will be more people participating in the Global Astronomy Month. Well, as you know, we have problems of funds. We are all volunteers. Even if we did activities with the Education Ministry, we don't have help, so we have to use our own funds to make some activities. But I think we have some good opportunities in the country, because Morocco is involved in a large solar energy policy, and we think that astronomy is waiting for its time in Morocco, because with this huge solar energy program, I think we can link astronomy with this program. I have already been in contact with the solar energy agency in Morocco, and I presented our project for school clubs. They say that it's very interesting, and maybe they will help us soon. So I think maybe next year we will be more active, and we will participate in a more important scale.
That's terrific, Hatim. Thanks very much. It's great to see more happening in Morocco. I've been to Morocco and Casablanca, as well as Marrakesh, which I love. And
you have to come back to see us.
I would love to. And also Tunisia and Algeria. I have some pictures from Algeria to share as well. And you know, it is, as in all places, that it's very enthusiastic volunteers who really love to bring astronomy to the public, just like we do everywhere. So it's very similar to the activities we have in every country, really, but always with its own cultural slant. And another country I've never been to, but I really want to visit. We have one more guest here to share a few things with us. The National Coordinator for Astronomers Without Borders in New Zealand, and Robert McTagg. Is that how we pronounce it, Robert? Sorry about that.
That's pretty close, Mike. McTagg, actually.
McTagg. Okay. Hi.
Good. Yeah, we've had a pretty busy GAM 2013. It's growing really nicely. I think in New Zealand we're well supported by clubs up and down the country, particularly two clubs in particular, our own group here in South Canterbury and the Horowhenua Astronomical Society in the North Island. Both groups were founded about the same time in 2009 as a result of the International Year of Astronomy. So I guess that's why they're really, really strong on outreach. That doesn't mean there's a lot of other clubs. There's a lot of other clubs that have been going for many years who run regular events and get behind GAM. We were well supported by the Royal Astronomical Society of New Zealand this year, which helped spread the word. Our two big planetariums, Carter and Stardome, had programs running as well. They were very, very well supported, all mostly based around outreach. The thing that was most pleasing, I guess, this year is that the media up and down New Zealand supported us really, really well and got behind us. Now, Mike's just showing you an image of a young lady talking to a lot of young children about astronomy, and her name's Maya Barlev. Now, Maya is from Pennsylvania in the United States, and she's on a Watson Fellowship and traveling the world to spread the word to astronomy. She's been to the African continent. She's to go to Indonesia after she leaves New Zealand. Maya was very gracious to respond to an email from me and spend 4 days with us in South Canterbury. And here she is pictured. The room was packed out with over 50 children and parents, and here she is presenting a really interesting interactive program to lots and lots of young people. And there were many people from my local group who were standing in the back in absolute awe of how she was able to interact with the children. It was one of many activities that were run in conjunction in our own area, my own area, South Canterbury, with our local museum. We brought them on board this year, the South Canterbury Museum, and they spent a lot of money supporting us, and they've had tremendous crowds through. And in fact, we just heard yesterday as we were winding down that event that it was one of the best, or if not the best, events that they've held with a community group. So this is their first time going out to a community group. Astronomy is not something typically seeing modern telescopes and displays you'd see in a museum, but it's worked really very well, and I'm sure we'll do it again in the future.
Yeah. So Robert, I have to say I was just showing a nice exhibition there, but I want to zoom in on something a little bit closer, because there seems to be something going on here that I'm not really familiar with in our country. So there's some people taking a look at this.
Now everybody's going to have to excuse me if I get the pronunciation wrong. This is an Oriole, and it's a brass instrument that shows the positions of the solar system, and it was a centerpiece of the exhibition, and very, very intriguing for lots of people of all ages. And here we have a young lady who's got her face painted, and face painting and craft activities form part of the exhibition as well for the young people. And here they are having a good look at the Oriole, and one of our members on the right hand there, Heather, explaining to them how it works.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear that that's a face painting and not some strange tropical disease I wasn't aware of. Looks a little spooky. Okay, and you also have regular the usual. Let me bring up a picture of some of your outreach here. I think this is a beautiful. Looks like a beautiful autumn day, and those of us up here have to remember that when we're having a nice spring day, you're having fall, autumn down under. And it looks like the leaves have turned along along with the hair on this child. He's brighter than the trees are.
That is, yes. That's photographed in one of the provincial areas around South Canterbury, a place called Geraldine, solar observing. One of the rare opportunities where we got to actually get out and do some solar observing and night sky observing. The weather for April was absolutely atrocious this year, so we were fortunate to have the inside activities, but whenever the skies cleared, we were out there with scopes at night time and during the day, and like everywhere around the world, there's lots of wows and oohs and ahs as they look at these things for the first time through a scope.
That's great. Okay, Robert. Well, thanks very much for that, for giving us a look there. And sorry, I see chatter there. That distracts me. Do we have any questions or comments coming in at all, Pamela? I don't see anything in the feed, so I guess
no.
not.
Just lots of enthusiasm and people sharing how much they like the different people who are in here.
Oh, that's terrific. Well, yeah, these are some of our favorites, but there are lots of people all over the world sharing. I'm going to show a few more photographs from some other places. I mentioned Algeria. This is right next to Hatim's country, between Tunisia and Algeria.
Yeah.
But between Tunisia and Morocco. Algeria is different, though. But here we see a group holding a special event for another great global program, Universe Awareness. In this case, centered in the EU. And I'm always struck by the fact that this picture could be from anywhere, except of course there's Arabic script on the back there, so I know it's not in the U.S. But they're taking part in these great events that and programs that are part of what the rest of us are doing ourselves everywhere around the world. This is also a part of that Universe. Well, it's Universe Awareness. So this is for the youngest children, and this is part of the event going on in Algeria there. So we have things going on all over the world. So I'd like to bring up a few other pictures as well while I'm struggling to find those. Selena or Jessica or anybody else, do you have any comments that you'd like to make?
Sure, I'd like to direct people also to the GAM blog, because there are tons and tons of stories about what was going on, and you can hear from different people on their outreach and different outreach strategies that they used. We heard lots of them here on this panel, but there are so many ways to get astronomy to the public, and so that's a good resource. Talina, maybe you have something to add about social media and outreach?
Sure. Before that, I just want to say add something about the GAM blog. Mike, are you able to pull up the image?
I have it up there now, and
all right, cool. This image looks super cool. I mean, for the GAM blog, we had 30 bloggers for 30 days, and trust me, this is such a hard task to get like 30 bloggers blogging one each day. And we had 6 amateur astronomers, 10 astronomy communicators, 7 professional astronomers, and 5 astrophysicists, and 1 astro artist, and 1 astrophotographer. And they all came from about 15 countries and spreading all over the place. And as Jessica pointed out, these are really good articles, and I'm sure some of you, most of you haven't had a chance to read them because we had to write articles every day throughout April. But we'll be sharing them for a while, and I urge you to go and take a look at GAM blog, because so much hard work went into this, and there's really good content in that.
Great.
And yes, along with the blogs, I just want to mention that we had 3 other blogs running for GAM: the Dark Sky Awareness blog, and the Astro Art blog, and also Astro Poetry blog, which all 3 were active during GAM. And you can still see the content from during the GAM time.
Well, I would like to also say something about dark skies awareness, because that's an important part of every astronomy program, something that all of us in astronomy are concerned about. And yes, that's it. And so during April, we also have International Dark Sky Week. This is run by the International Dark Sky Association, IDA, who are the leaders in trying to preserve the night sky for all of us, for cultural reasons and health reasons, to keep darkness, as well as for the benefit of us astronomers and our ability to show everybody what their astronomical heritage really is. So this is a very important event that happens to be during GAM. It's an example of a partner program. It is not something that we run, but we support it, and it supports GAM. And so we work with IDA as well as many other partners throughout the year. And I went the wrong direction on that one. This is an example of a photograph that was taken with lights on and off, and I'm sorry, maybe somebody else will on here will remember why the lights are off here. I think this was a special event. Perhaps it's Earth Night or Earth Hour when the lights are turned on.
It was for the International Dark Sky Week.
Fantastic. So, and
yes, I just want to add something. Now, this year actually, the IDA took the lead on in the organizing International Dark Sky Week, and they did a fantastic job bringing in all these astrophotographers around the world. And during Global Astronomy Month, they had about 90,000. Their reach on Facebook was went up to 90,000, and so for them it was a huge deal, because it was such an increase from their regular reach on Facebook.
Well, it's the idea of working together. We can accomplish a lot more if we just pool our resources and bring more people in, and it benefits everybody. So there's no reason to work separately. It works much better together. This is Michael Uberty, and in this case, you can see a little bit closer up his outreach. He's in the United States, and he does a tremendous amount of work on bringing the importance of the night sky to people in his area, as well as working on programs that benefit this effort throughout the world. So, and he's a very important, very active member of Astronomers Without Borders in his area as well. So that's any other comments on the dark skies awareness things at this point?
Just on the dark sky awareness blog, there's one article I want to actually highlight. This article written for the statewide Star Party, which took place in North Carolina, and they celebrated the Globe at Night and as well as GAM, and they had 45 sites, 45 observing sites throughout North Carolina on a single day, on a weekend, and that was a huge success, and it was the first time they did something like that, and I'm sure they're going to repeat it next year. And so they included both the Globe at Night and as well as GAM.
Fantastic.
Also, Mike, you want to talk about the World at Night contest? They got a really large number of entries. They had a 20% increase this year. I think they got over 700 entries, and they recently announced their winning picture, didn't they?
They did. Tell us what the World at Night contest is all about, Jessica. And I'll queue up pictures for her.
Sure. Selena, maybe you can help me out. But this contest has been going on for how long?
Since they actually the first contest was without AWB, and then from 2010 onwards we collaborated, as in for GAM. And because before GAM there was one contest, I think it was for International Astronomy, and so starting from 2010 it was collaborated with GAM.
Right, and there's also a really, as I understand it, there's a kind of dark skies initiative. These are astroastronomers really know the importance of dark skies, so it underscores that whole initiative. And anybody can submit a photo, and they're just astounding, gorgeous photos, and also of aurorae around the world. It's just fabulous stuff. So. You can go to their website and see the winning picture. I don't know if you have that ready yet, Mike, but if not, people can go to their website, which is...
Well, twanight.org.
Yeah.
That's The World at Night. The World at Night is actually a project of Astronomers Without Borders, but I consider this really more of a partner program. Babak Tafashi, who's now a very well-known astrophotographer, and this kind of photography of Earth and sky together. And here I am talking into my screen share again. Is really the one that organizes all of this, and there's very little support that he actually needs from Astronomers Without Borders. So all the credit really needs to go to Babak and the Tuan photographers around the world who were hand-chosen for this. And you know, he found that rather than just a few people taking part in this kind of photography, like it seemed he had just hundreds, even thousands of people around the world who are sending in photos saying, well, I take pictures like this. And while they may not be up to the same level as these more professional photographers, they do fabulous work. So a guest gallery was started, and eventually this photo contest. Okay. And I'm going to show a few of the winning photographs from that, because these are really spectacular.
And I also want to say this is a great outreach strategy. A lot of people don't realize that they can eventually work themselves up to this level of photography. So when they see these photographs and they know that just ordinary people are taking them, it's really exciting for a lot of people, and they might get interested in astronomy. So it's really worth showing these pictures that are made by amateur astronomers.
And these, this is an example of one of there are two different categories in this contest. One is the beauty of the night. The other is against the lights, and this is an example of that. And this one is taken in Salzburg, Austria, showing the stars peeking out above the Alps, above the brightly lit city of Salzburg. So I'm gonna go through a few of these. I apologize, I may get through some of them twice. But you can see the different types here, clearly the beauty of the night in this one. It looks like it's, there we go, back to the right aspect ratio, the Milky Way rising. In this case, over Reunion Island in the Indian Ocean.
Wonderful.
This is in Arizona, not that far from me, in California, against the lights also. Great fireball in Canada against the aurora. And these are all spectacular. I really suggest that you go to, even regardless of the contest, the World at Night guest gallery, or regular gallery, as well as the guest gallery, just full of thousands of unbelievable photographs like this. And the thing that always strikes me is, you know, where is this bridge? Where is this? It could be anywhere in the world. We really do share the same sky. This happens to be in my country. And this one's down in Australia, taken by Jeff Sims, who's an eclipse chaser and somewhat of an authority there, has taken some beautiful pictures of last year's total solar eclipse. And back here, the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. It's pretty well known, too. So those are some of the winning pictures, but if you want to see thousands and thousands more, I would just simply go to the World at Night website and take a look at those there. So we're sort of getting along on here, and let's see. Okay, and Jessica, I think you had a comment. I'll leave it to you, Jessica. Do you want to comment about the guest blog and so on, or?
I just want to say that blog, I don't know if we mentioned this before, but it's run by two women out of Indonesia, and they both do astronomy, and so I just want to shout out to them. So Talina, could you say their names? Raven Yu and Aviva Yamani, right?
Yes, just a small correction. Aviva Yaman is from Indonesia and Raven Yu is from Philippines.
Okay.
So they were the two who did the GAM blog. And also I want to give a shout out to Samira Yu, who is from China but living in USA. She is the one who managed the Dark Sky Awareness blog.
Yeah, and I noticed that Babak, he just joined. Hi Babak, we were just talking about your amazing photo exhibit and that you've announced the winner. Can you just say a few things? I was telling them that you've gotten unprecedented numbers this year, and anything you want to add or say? What was exciting this year?
You're muted. If you click the orange mic at the top, it'll unmute you.
So how about now?
Better.
Okay. So we had over 700 images as entries, and then we judged nearly 95% of them because they were so good, just simply stunning. So we are so amazed at how much night escape photography or landscape astrophotography has developed during the past few years. And it's just reaching many more people, many new countries. This year we had great amount of entries from China, for example. It was the second most participating country to the contest after United States. And there were so many good pictures from that country. As well from many other Asian countries, a lot of pictures from Indonesia, for example, some very good shots from Chile, and it was simply rewarding for us to look at all those images. All the judges were quite surprised. So the contest result is now on Tuan website, and the news is spreading around. In a few hours, National Geographic website will post a gallery about it. I think Universe Today is going to report on it in a couple of hours. I'm going to write an article for Sky and Telescope website, and MSNBC usually each year cover the contest news as well. And I can also tell you that all the winner photographers are quite happy and surprised. We had, in fact, two repeating winners from the past years. They're from France and a small island near Madagascar in the Indian Ocean, Reunion. It's also a French island. And these people are just winning each year. So we're going to invite them probably to Tuan sooner or later. Otherwise, they will win all our prizes each year.
Well, Babak, thanks for joining us and talking about it. I did talk about Tuan and the incredible work you're doing. I think the contest shows how popular it is. I'm encouraging everybody to go take a look and browse through. So we're running well over an hour here, and there are a couple of things I promised something maybe in the way of surprises, and I would like to share a couple of things with you before we go. And here's one that I would like to mention. Let's see. Where is it? This is not entirely new, but it's unknown to a lot of people. Astronomers Without Borders has tremendous support from some of our supporters, in particular Celestron Corporation. Celestron is a big supporter of astronomy around the world, not just commercial. They were really doing a lot of work to help organizations like ours. And in this case, they are sourcing a telescope that is going to be the first Astronomers Without Borders brand. And this telescope was recently shown at NEAF, an important show here in the US. And it was really a huge hit. It's a 5-inch Dobsonian with a parabolic mirror. It collapses down to a very, from here down to a very compact unit. You can just pick up by the handle and take it away. So it's very portable. It's high quality. It's actually made by Skywatcher, and Celestron is bringing it in entirely without cost to Astronomers Without Borders, so that all the benefits from this go to Astronomers Without Borders. And it is available for pre-order on our store, which is just shop.astronomerswithoutborders.org. We expect it to be shipping in probably about 2 months, middle of July. But the first shipment may go quickly. If you want to pre-order, we can. We're going to have a mailing list so we can let you know when it's available. So I want to let everyone know about that. This has also been used in one of our programs. One of the samples is now in Tanzania in East Africa, and was given a really rugged field test under the most challenging of conditions in rural areas, dusty, rocky roads, and so on, because this is a telescope we can use for our programs as well. So we hope to get support for bringing these telescopes into use in all of these different programs that we have. And while I switch to another surprise picture I want to bring up, does anybody have a comment on the telescope that I hadn't thought?
Mike, I'd like to comment that I have actually used that telescope very often in my classroom, and this is an excellent choice.
It really has gotten very good reviews so far, and I'm bringing it back up here because I want to show one thing. You can see the Astronomers Without Borders brand on here, and you'll see something next to it that will be unfamiliar to you, and this is what I want to bring up next. It doesn't look like the usual Astronomers Without Borders logo. In fact, it is not, and if I can get over here to the other, to show you a current screenshot of the Astronomers Without Borders webpage, and you'll see the same thing, and also some different branding up here. So Astronomers Without Borders is rolling out a new logo, new branding, that I think represents even better the idea behind Astronomers Without Borders. And I'm going to bring up one last image to share here so we can all see this a little bit better and share with you what it is that we're doing. So here we have one of the versions of the new Astronomers Without Borders logo, and with our slogan, One People, One Sky. The logo is based on the idea that we are all sharing, all different colors in fact, around the world, that it's based on the all-encompassing sky, that we're all sharing that same sky. And we're all kind of star people as well. I like to think of it that way. So this is the new Astronomers Without Borders logo that is rolling out now, and we're going to have new products and various other things to that will encompass this. And we're really very excited about it, and we look forward to comments from around the world as well. I think, as you know, rebranding is always a difficult choice and a difficult. This has been going on for some time, but I think we really kind of hit it with this one. So I look forward to comments on that as well. So, and I see in our chat right on here, some people are commenting that they like it because this is new to everybody else. Well, most of the people on this chat as well. So that is the new branding, and I just want to open up and say, you know, does anybody have anything else to say? Jessica, you may comment on next year, GAM 2014, because unlike the rest of us, you're actually planning ahead, and maybe we'll get us all in order early this next year.
Well, I imagine all of the programs that happen this year will happen again. I mean, there'll be some variation in the astro art people who are lined up. But Babak, will you be doing the contest next year?
Well, yeah, we can't stop it.
Yeah, that's great. And that's kind of how we feel about GAM. We can't stop it, right? I mean, they love astronomy and they can't get enough of it. So, but if anyone has an idea for a program or anything, one of the wonderful things about AWB is we're always open to ideas. We're on the cutting edge. We want to get out there and do stuff that other people haven't. And so if you have ideas, send them to us. You can get a hold of any of us on our webpage or Facebook or Twitter. And so that's it. The earlier the better. Let's plan it and let's go out there and do astronomy.
Well, I think that's a great comment to close on. We really are trying to do things that other people aren't doing. And the way that we do it usually is not by making up new things, it's by bringing people together to combine. Astro Arts is a good example. Astro Arts, run by Daniela De Paulus, an Italian artist living in the Netherlands, it has brought in space artists of all kinds and is really expanding. And we have a lot more to come throughout the year on that. But it combines astronomy and the arts, different cultures, their engineering aspects to live performances, moon bounce images going to the moon and back, a whole lot of different things. And these are things that really surprised me. I never expected to have things happening like this. So now one last thing I want to point out. Global Astronomy Month is the big month of the year, but Astronomers Without Borders isn't doing nothing in between. So we do have other programs, but we focused on Global Astronomy Month on this particular program. And we'll be back with some other looks at new things in Astronomers Without Borders. Perhaps on a monthly basis, we're looking at that. The Hangouts have been very successful so far. And so we'll be back to let you know about more things for those who are watching. If you're not a member of Astronomers Without Borders, just go to the website and sign up. There is free membership so that anybody anywhere in the world can join, and we will always have that available. I'd like to point out that if you can afford it, if you're in one of the countries where you can do it, where we're doing better, we have supporting memberships as well. And we always, like every organization, like CosmoQuest that's doing great things, we all need support. So if you have the ability to help us out, become a supporting member, we invite you and welcome you and plead with you to do that as well. And so that's, I think, on that note, we should just say watch for more from Astronomers Without Borders throughout the year. Check out CosmoQuest as well for more of their Hangouts. They have fantastic guests throughout the year on a more regular basis. And we hope to see you on our website and in other programs coming up in the future. Take part. The sky is, enjoying the sky is not a spectator sport. So join in and check out what we are doing for the rest of the year and our partners as well. So we'll advertise them as well. So I want to thank everybody for joining us. It's been a lot of fun to do, despite a few glitches that are always inevitable in these live programs. And I look forward to having more interaction with all of you very soon. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
I'm Mike Simmons. I'm the founder and president of Astronomers Without Borders, where things like this happen on a daily basis, where things, there's always some sort of a glitch. I'm really happy to have this chance to have a hangout to wrap up Global Astronomy Month, but also look forward to a few other things that we have coming up during the year, as well as next year. Global Astronomy Month has been a fantastic event going back the last few years, and this was a follow-up to 100 Hours of Astronomy in the International Year of Astronomy in 2009, and it's really grown to become the world's biggest annual event in astronomy. So we've got several guests with us from around the world as well as the principals, some of the people whose names you have seen in notes, who are going to have a chance to talk a little bit about what's gone on during the year, or during this past month as well. So thank you for joining us for this, and look forward to showing you some of the things we're doing and some of what's coming up as well. So Jessica Santascoy is is the GAM manager for 2013. Jessica is in New York City, a place where stars usually don't appear much. And Jessica, I wanted to ask a few questions of you and see what you thought about doing this. Jessica was previously with the Astronomical Society of the Pacific and running the Night Sky Network there, or working on it. So this is quite a change for you, Jessica. What are your impressions? And what do you think?
I've just been blown away with how many people have come together around the world to do this amazing astronomy outreach. I mean, the Astronomical Society is kind of an educational organization that does outreach, and so it's really been good to see this come together. It's been amazing at how many people are so generous, and then the variation of.
Now I see South America, which is Brazil, New Zealand, Ghana, and Sri Lanka represented here amongst the national coordinators and other participants, as well as those of us who are sort of in the middle of it all. So, and another person who's in the middle of it all and has been for quite some time is Thelina Hinatigala. Thelina, I'm not sure after all these years if I pronounce your name correctly or not. Is that close? Can Thelina hear me? Is Thelina there?
Thelina's video seems to be frozen at the moment, so maybe jump to the next person.
Well, last I heard they're having big storms in Sri Lanka, and that always messes things up for us. So, we don't have any comments or questions yet, Pamela, do we?
We have a bunch of people saying positive things, looks good. One people, one sky. So we do have an audience out there, and no questions, but a lot of enthusiasm. Okay. So I want to we have a lot of people to talk to and to share things, and I want to bring some people in. One of the people who has been very active in Astronomers Without Borders from pretty close to the beginning is Marcelo Souza in Brazil. And Marcelo is one of the more active people. All of these people are. Let's take a look at some of the things that they have done there. It's been a wide variety. And Marcelo, welcome Marcelo, bom dia.
Bom dia. Nice to meet all of you.
So Marcelo, what is new for Global Astronomy Month in Brazil this year? What are the most successful things that you have done, do you think?
We have many groups in Brazil that participated in GAN, and we also, this year, we had the support of hangouts like this that we are participating, that we have here in Brazil.
Alphabetical order of continents. How many people do we have here that are from the Asian continent? Felina, I know you're in the Asian continent. I think you are, at least.
Yes. Yeah.
So wave if you're from the Asian continent. Okay, so how about the Australian continent, which includes New Zealand? You're sort of dangling off the continent. So we have Australia. Do we have anyone in here from South America? No, we're missing South America. North America?
Actually, we do.
Mike and I.
Marcelo is from South America.
Okay. Europe.
Missing Europe.
We're missing Europe, and do we have anyone from Africa?
Yes.
African. So we're doing really good at getting as many continents as is humanly realistic into this hangout. So if you can all ask questions, and Mike, sorry to jump in, I just wanted to get that pointed out.
No, I appreciate that. I was a little. I appreciate you're joining in there, Pamela, and we should at least give an introduction to Pamela too. Probably everybody knows who Pamela Gay is, also Star Strider. But CosmoQuest is one of our many partners in GAM and beyond, and CosmoQuest does these hangouts regularly. They have regular weekly programs of all kinds. And so they're our partner to produce these hangouts for us, and so we're glad to have them to help us out, and to Pamela to jump in once in a while to save me while I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing as well. Well, so we're going to talk to each of our guests in turn as well, and we have a lot of pictures to show what's going on, what happened during GAM, and we'll get to those as well, and introduce each one of our guests. And to be a little bit more specific before we introduce them, so people know what countries we have We have Philippines, Vietnam, Morocco.
That's popularized the gun for all the people here in Brazil, for all groups. And we also organize again our international meeting during the gun that is part of the gun here in Brazil. And I have some pictures here about these activities that I will share now.
Okay, in fact, I have one here that maybe Pamela can show on my screen that is something new and something that we're doing more of. So let me show that too, and then you can get yours ready as well. This is a program of astronomy for the sight impaired, in which Pamela, I'm not telling if that's being shared up there now or not.
Yes, this was a big success here. The first time we did this.
Yes, and this was basically you can see in the picture if you're seeing it, and I'm confused about whether or not that's really what's up there at the moment. But you'll see both the sight disabled and people with blindfolds who are normally sighted individuals who are seeing what it's like to not be able to see as they go into this tent to do things. Marcelo, tell us a little bit about what's.
I have some other images about this presentation, and sorry, I'll leave it here first. I will come back here on a moment. I will show here some pictures about this experience here. And the first time we have here in Brazil a school here in our city here in Brazil, a school for. I have to change here. Okay, sorry. Now, can you see the image of the experience that we do?
Yes.
Okay. This is what
programming is superb, from astro art to educational, observing, online programs, and they're all overlapping. So all of them are educational, let's say, and we have dark skies programming. Amateur astronomers all over the world are interested in dark skies, so it's just been fabulous. I'm just astounded by the generosity of people.
Muted.
Yeah.
Forgetting. So I got thrown a little bit. My notes disappeared. So we're winging it. But so Jessica, you've been been thrown into the eye of the storm in this last month, and it is a little bit chaotic. And I think a lot of people don't realize that there are very few of us actually working in Astronomers Without Borders. A lot gets done with very little. It must have been a bit frustrating for you at times as well, as you're trying to chase things down worldwide.
Yeah, it was a little frustrating, but the team that we're working with is so enthusiastic, and we all just love what we're doing that the frustrations are minor when you're looking at the big picture and thinking about how people are sharing scopes or putting together programs. So it really doesn't matter. It's trivial. It's just been a really great time.
And to give us to give a sense of what is meant by global, I think it's worth pointing out, I've never been in a hangout with this many continents in play. So I'd like to first of all say I want questions from as many comments as we have represented in the Hangout. And if you want to send us your questions, you can either tweet us with the hashtag GAM2013, GAM 2013. You can post to our Google event page, or you can leave a comment on YouTube. Now, to give a sense of just where everyone is from, let's vaguely by